Hi guys, welcome to another askzenler. So in this little workshop, what I want to do is I want to show you how you can do a push image right to the edge of the screen. So basically full width. So you can see this image in here looks really nice, but if I come into this and I refresh it, just in the middle of the page, maybe we want this to go right across the page and we want this to be all close like this. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So we're going to drop a block in here and I'm just going to drop an empty block in. There we go, and I'm going to put a row in here. I'm going to choose two rows, two columns, one row. And the first thing I'm going to do is I can hit here and I can make this full width. So this is going to help with the overall spacing of this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop a row inside the row. Now this is because I will then have some options inside the row as well as inside the base row. So I'll have two rows. So I'm going to add an element here and I'm going to drop a row in here. Now you'll be able to see that because if you mouse over, you'll see that the first row I put in, and then if you go like this, you can see that inner row there. So there's a row inside a row. All right, stay with me on this. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an element and I'm going to use an image. So I'm going to go and grab something like this, which is great. Right, now for this one, I'm also going to drag a row in there. See the row inside a row. I'm going to go to add an element and I'm going to add a heading text. So I'm not writing anything in here, I'm just purely showing you how it works. So now I've got this element, this heading element inside that inner row. So I'm now going to select the plus in here and I'm going to go and select some text. So I'm just going to take some text. Okay, and what I think I'll do is I'll just duplicate it up a little bit. Copy. And let's just drop this down a couple and paste that back in. Right, so at the moment you can see that we are not edge to edge, and also we haven't got a color behind it. So what I'm going to do is I want to get that color behind it. So I'm going to choose this outer row, the first row that we added. I'm going to go into the settings and I'm going to choose the background color to be a color. So I'm going to go into something that's going to kind of work with this color here. So maybe oh, that's a bit crazy. Oh, I'll leave it with this color, it doesn't matter. And I'll also just change these to white just to make it look a bit better. Okay, so let me save that and let's just view what we've got on page. So let's hit the refresh button here and you're going to see that we are not edge to edge. Okay, so with the system, even though you do full width, we put padding in there to allow, or margin in there, so that it keeps it away from the edge, so everything becomes organized in a grid. However, we can add spacing and padding, which you know about. We can add padding in there and spacing to space things out. If I choose the element in here and go to the settings, you can see that I can choose and I can put spacing in here and here. But what you might not realize is that we can put negative spacing in there. So what I can do is really easily is select certain things and expand them out. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this outer box and I am going to, instead of having any top bottom spacing, I'm going to bring this up and I'm not going to put any spacing left or right, but I'm going to put a negative value into here. So I'm going to put negative 50. Look at that, it's bounced to the edge, that side. But if we go to the other side, you're going to see it's not. So I need to put negative 50 into this side as well. Okay, so now I've done that and I click save. We're going to get a little bit closer to what we want to achieve here. So I'm going to hit the refresh. You're going to see now it is edge to edge. Okay, so the reason we created that row inside there was so that we could do exactly the same. So I'm going to come into the settings for this, take away the spacing top and bottom, so it's 0. And now we're going to go into negative numbers on here. So I'm going to do a negative 20 on here. That's a little bit too much. Got to be careful you don't do too much because otherwise you cannot see the settings. So you want to be right on that hub, like there, or probably 10 might do it. Oh, probably 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now we've taken it there, but look at the spacing at the bottom. So I'm going to put some negative in here. Let's put negative 10 in here. That's probably too much. Let's do 8. Let's do 9. No, 10 was perfect. Okay, 10 in there, and spacing here 10 as well. Now let's hit the refresh button and come back into here and refresh, and bang, we've got an edge to edge working page in there, and it will drop down nicely on responsive as well, because it will just go above that row. So it sometimes fizzles out on some of this where you're coming down to hit the responsive unit, but it should work for you good enough for it to work. So that's how you can do it inside there really easily. Now also remember, because we've got a row inside the row there, I can click there, and if I need a bit more padding left or right, or margin spacing, I can come into the padding areas here and I can bring them in, so I can move them away if I want to, you know. So I've got that control with that row, and I've also got control on the elements as well that are inside that row. So this is a very powerful and a very good way to work with if you're trying to create these kind of dramatic blocks. So remember also, guys, that you can, once you select that block, if you want to create the same thing out, you can duplicate it and then swap out those images. So if you want a kind of mosaic type effect, then you can easily go in there and sort of swap this stuff out and change the base background colors, these kind of things. So pretty powerful. I'll change this color here to like an orange or something, and then click save, come into this row, hit this, and there you go. You got a really powerful mosaic. Now you could of course swap these around as well. You're not stuck with just doing that. I could take this and I could drop it into this one, and then I could take this one and I could throw it into this one, and this one, throw it in over here like that. And I might have to go into this and change this setting again in here, so I'd need to probably go in and push this across. So I'd go to spacing -20 there, and negative, -10, -10, and need to just change that one. And my horizontal alignment, I'm actually going to make it right. And let's take the spacing. It's not left at all. It should have been right. -20. And there you go, nearly there. Let's put 40 in there, something like that. So you can see that you can get these different effects running through. And of course you can still change this if you wanted to as well. The only reason this isn't matching up perfectly is because this width of this image is different ratio to the width of this image. So that's what we're stuck with. So if you were doing it, you need to make sure your widths are the same on the images. Okay guys, that's quite important. So I'm going to hit refresh now, and then we swap the images out. And you've got this kind of mosaic effect going down here. You see this quite a lot on a lot of websites. So very cool effect. That's how we can do it using negative integers inside of some of those spacings and padding as well, because in padding you can also put a negative number in there as well to knock things around. So if you need final adjustments, you need to push things out slightly, you've always got the ability of putting a negative integer in as well as a positive integer. Do be careful, do make sure you base test it through tablets and mobile devices. That goes without saying. You should do tests over everything. But this is a very cool effect, and you can get very dramatic looking websites doing this. I'd like to see more of you guys using these kind of methods to get away, because the flexibility of the page builder is such that you can actually make your sites completely original. You don't have to stick inside the bounds of what we've created for you as a base template. You have a lot of areas to move move into. So have a look around. What I'd suggest is have a look around on the website, on different websites you like the look of, and think, how can I do that on my website, and try and make that happen. If you do something very dramatic and different, then post it on the group, show people what do you think of this, because it's really nice for us to see. And also, like, if I see something that's really dramatic and really good, then I will do askzenlers and I will show people how that you've managed to achieve that. I might even reach out to you and ask you if I'm if I can actually use your site as an example to show people as well. So all good stuff. We're sharing the love around here. So that's another askzenler for you on doing full width spread blocks.